How's it going, ladies and Bruces? I'm Bobby Sixkilla, and welcome to Love Thyself, a Horatio story. Now, this is not the kind of game we generally do on the channel. It's a dating sim, but it looked funny, it looked interesting, it looked funny. I read some of the user reviews, and they were pretty humorous. Apparently, it's based on the Endless series, as in Endless Space and Endless Dungeon and all of those. I don't play those because I don't play strategy games realistically, but this looks funny, so let's just jump into it and see what it's all about. I'm curious. And we can make voices again. It is impossible to dissociate my story from that of Horatio, the first of our name. The first beings to travel widely between the stars were known as the Endless. We know of no earlier form of intelligent life that moved between galaxies. Their history is glorious, but above all, tragic. Though they unlocked the secrets of time-space, the stars and life itself were unable to master their own internal conflicts. What remains now of the Endless are strange, disjointed traces in the forms of seeds, of observatories, of experiments, of cities and worlds, perhaps, though not all of this is clear or verifiable, in the forms of other peoples. Many star-faring civilizations have since risen to the fore. Some have fallen as well. Events in recent history have led to an explosion in the number of players on the galactic scene. One of these, undoubtedly, a major one, is Horatio. Once upon a time, Horatio was just a man, a simple trillionaire. One night, a vision came to him in the shape of a dream. It was the vision of an empire and eternal life. He left everything behind, venturing through the stars. Over the ages, he discovered many of the mysteries left by the Endless, and his knowledge and power grew. He created his first sons and willed his empire into existence, a beacon of all that is brilliant and beautiful. Now the empire of Horatio flourishes, and Horatio himself is immortal, with a power to rival that of the Endless themselves. Some say that they were living gods. They're dead now, though, while we thrive through our brother, our god, Horatio. Go towards the light. I think I hear someone. All the clones in this batch are to be decanted today. I know this is earlier than the original schedule planned for, but the schedule didn't plan for 2 patrol squads in the heartland of the Empire to go missing within a month. Just follow my lead and procedure will be fine. If you do well today, you might be promoted to junior lab technician earlier than expected. That would be amazing, sir. Don't interrupt. Most of the process is automated, but contrarily to some of the clone hatching sequences you've seen in class, the final steps are still done by hand. These are procedures for which a computer cannot be trusted, and you have to rely on steady Horatio judgment. Back to our specimens. You will handle clones births A through L. I'll do the other row. Pick one and get to work. Can you hear me? One moment I'm asleep, and the next I'm alive. My eyes struggle to adjust to the brightness of the room. It slowly comes into focus. There's a man in white, in blue uniform, bent over me with a bald, elongated head and the look of concern on his face. Hello? Ah, you're awake, great. I have a couple of questions for you. He shoves the small hollow pad he's holding in my face. It's very bright and I recoil slightly, groaning something. He starts flipping through pages when the other voice calls out. Come over please, I need your help. The man looks for a place to put down the hollow pad, then realizes his outfit doesn't have pockets big enough to accommodate it. Turgis F07, I'm talking to you, get moving. Yes sir, coming. He looks down at me and ends up putting the tablet down next to me. I'll be back. He trots away and out of sight. I struggle to prop myself up on one elbow so I can keep watching him. He stops at a platform some distance away, on which lies a naked man. Another uniformed man is standing nearby, looking at a side panel next to the platform. All 3 of them look exactly alike. Brothers? How can I help, sir? The uniformed man points at the naked form in front of him. His clone is faulty, the lights are on, but it seems nobody's home. I'm trying to make sense of all this. These people are clones of one another? What do you mean, sir? Well, it's obvious, isn't he? Isn't it? He can hear us, but he can't respond. Something must have gone wrong during the process. On the outside he's fine, but his motor or educational imprinting is flawed. The result is this useless husk. No good is being beautiful if you can't make everyone proud. The cloning vats are near perfect, but every once in a while, some other parts of the pipeline produce a disgusting abnormality. Let's take care of him and chalk him up as a total loss. What do you need me to do? Simple, take his legs. The man called Turgis F07 grabs the unmoving clone by the ankles and looks at the other clone. The latter has passed his hands under the clone's arms and pulls him off the platform with a grunt. We'll put the body in the recycling chute. This way we get the nutrients back. Think of it as his way of contributing. Both of them tug and pull haphazardly, and before long they're panting. We can't afford to show weakness at this time, or ever. Everything and everyone is perfect and beautiful in the Horatio Empire. It's a kindness we're doing to him, when you think about it. I watch as they come nearer and realise there are about a dozen other men on the platforms, all of them in various states of laying down or sitting up, looking at the grotesque scene with mild interest. Every single one of them is a carbon copy of the trio in front of us. I catch my reflection on the surface and I suddenly realise I, too, am one of them. A clone. Of them. A Horatio. It is a good thing we caught this now, so we can fix it before the ceremony. Our records need to be perfect. Otherwise we'll end up in Backwater Station, decanting only he knows what. This is a small blessing, really. For you and me, I mean, not him so much. The trio passes in front of me, and for a moment, my eyes lock into those of the faulty clone. Far from being dead inside, I can see fear radiating from him. He knows he's going to be killed off because he's imperfect. I sit up and try to figure out what the tests are about. I don't want to follow this guy into the recycling chute. Every time I think about what a memory test entails, I come up with a blank. I think that's the issue right there. My body's functional, I can understand what people are saying, I think, but there's nothing of the memory implants they mentioned. I'm a blank slate. Prop him up while I open the chute. I can do something about this. I turn around and look at the clone next to me, who is gazing about with an air of studied detachment. Our eyes lock and his expression shifts to a scowl. I haven't done anything to deserve it, although I've been fidgeting on my platform. What are you looking at, substrate? I rummage for a good comeback. All of these guys seem to hold perfection in very high regard. I know what'll shut him right up. I'm just wondering whose clone you are. Surely you can't be one of us. I'm just It takes him a moment, but eventually he gets it. He reddens and mutters under his breath. It definitely doesn't seem friendly. I realise we seem to be easily provoked, and causing a scene might just be my way out. I pull my legs off the platform and do just that when I catch something about to fall off. It's the holo pad that Turgis F07 left by my side. Maybe there's some information that would help me cheat my way through the test instead. What should I do? Provoke a fight as a distraction. No time to investigate. I put the holo pad down on the platform, hop off and throw myself at my neighbour, screaming. What did you just say to me? He's taken aback by my sudden outburst and I land a beautiful first slap that almost throws him off the platform. I try to shove him on the ground. He grabs me by the head, which is surprisingly effective, and we both fall off to the floor with a crash. We start swiping at each other with our eyes closed, grimacing and trying to protect our face from the blows. The other clones are coming around us and chanting, "Fight, fight, fight!" Others are saying things like, "Punch his ugly face and show him who's got the best genes." We're not hurting each other much, but it gets tiring quickly. Thankfully, the lab technicians arrive and separate us. We're both panting and sweaty, which is unpleasant to me. It seems to be absolutely awful for the other guy. I win this round. That's enough, you two. You're gonna mess up your pretty faces. Who'll even look at you after that, huh? What are you even fighting for? This is do or die. My opponent looks defiantly around and spits out. He was looking funny at one of his betters. I told him to back off. You called me a substrate. I clearly have the better genes. The lab technician in charge looks at Turgis F07 and snickers. Sort these idiots out. I'm going to let indoctrination know that we've got a feisty bunch. He leaves the room. Turgis F07 sighs and pinches the bridge of his nose. Okay. Everyone line up against the wall. We'll do a quick assessment, and you'll be on your way. You two idiots sit in the idiot corner over there until we're done. You're clearly functioning, and you seem to have the exact amount of jealousy that you need. You should probably be tested for stupidity down the line. I'm sure you'll make a great first impression in indoctrination. My opponent seems annoyed. I'm doing my best to mimic his expression, but I'm secretly relieved. We passed the test. I sit in silence, my blood pumping in my ears. until the testing is done and we're called away. Sometime later, the assistant comes back. Thanks for waiting. I was going to ask you to please head to the wardrobe in the next room over, where you'd find your station uniform. Anyone will do. They're all the same, obviously. After that, you'll be directed towards indoctrination. This will be followed by dinner, orientation, and you'll be shown to your quarters. Now, this way, please. The door to the next room opens and we step inside. I try to put a few people between me and my neighbour from the lab. There's a few tables at the far end of the room. Uniforms are neatly stacked and folded next to each other. We look at one another uneasily, until someone steps forward and grabs a uniform, looks at it warily and puts it on. We follow suit. It's some sort of green jumpsuit with 2 deep pockets. It closes with a simple zipper in front. The uniform is pretty snug fit, and the fabric seems sturdy yet comfortable. I notice there are a pair of light boots under the table, so I take a pair. They're a bit tight. I put my hands in my pockets and look around me, waiting for what's next. The wait doesn't last. After a minute, another door opens. The assistant from before is holding his holopad and peers inside. Okay, oh, normally there's someone else to show you the way to indoctrination. We're a bit short-staffed at the moment, apparently. There's a grumble from my neighbours at this lack of decorum. I've lit up the path on the holo screens. It'll guide you there. Just proceed down the hallway to the concourse and follow instructions. Sorry about that. I shuffle out of the room and hesitantly walk down the hallway, hoping that I won't get lost. The others are following me, although at a distance, no one seeming to want to take the initiative. They seem to be familiar with our surroundings, but not with the layout of the station. At least none of us had to pretend. I think no one wants to be going down the wrong way and making a mistake in front of the others. I've seen the crossroads twice, and stuck to the path indicated by the arrow on the wall screen. So far so good. I keep walking, the others follow. Eventually I hear a murmur in the distance which grows to a distinct noise as I draw nearer. I see some bright lights in the distance and a much more colourful environment. I step out into a plaza, a cathedral of green and gold. There are columns and glass everywhere, with manicured trees and shrubs in every corner, and overhead, an immense glass canopy. This must be the concourse. There are lots of other people here, all wearing the same jumpsuits we are. Probably fresh new clones, just like us. Even my jaded brethren around me are all murmuring among themselves in tones of wonder and amazement. It's as if talking out loud might make the wonders fade away. This way, please. The voice cuts through the noise effortlessly, and in a moment, the conversations go quiet. Horatio has appeared on an immense holo screen, inviting us to move along. There are more holo projections in the hallways leading to, what was it? Indoctrination. It sounds unpleasant. Nonetheless, I follow the crowd. Re-education. We meander through the corridors for a couple of minutes before we reach our destination. There's a huge room covered in rich materials, from the deep carpeting in the middle of the room to the panelled walls. There are long rows of wide, comfortable-looking seats, all facing a wall covered with an immense holo screen. Low columns form arcades and run along the walls of the room. It's beautiful. A Horatio in a red suit is standing with arms crossed on a low podium in front of the holo screen. He has a look of studied annoyance on his face. Once all of us are inside the room, he speaks up. May I have your attention, please? The crowd falls silent. His voice carries across the room, and even from somewhere near the entrance I can easily hear him. Please take a seat. Go all the way through the row. Don't just hog the centre seats. You'll hear me just fine from the sides as well. There's a bit of a rush forward, and the new clones do exactly the opposite of that. Soon enough, a cluster of Horatios are sitting in the prime seats and preventing the rest of the file from moving along. Oh, for his sake. Go around the audience and find a seat from the other side, and occupy the back and side seats if necessary. I position myself carefully in a spot at the back. I'd rather watch what's happening and do my best to blend in. The Horatio in the red outfit seems to be about to continue, when another moves in from the shadowy arcades to the side of the room and climbs the steps to the podium. His feet echo softly on the green marble tiles. The red Horatio closes his mouth and deflates a bit. The other one is moving pretty slowly, and from the envious look of my closest neighbours, I can only imagine that that's on purpose. He dismisses Red with a casual gesture of the hand and a smile. Red Horatio leaves the stand. With a grin, the second Horatio turns to us, his cape flowing in an emphatic demonstration that he's here and demands our attention. When he speaks, his inflections are slightly different. I surmise that he probably spends a lot of time speaking in public. Thank you, second-rate Master Sergeant Xrus B12, that'll be all. To each and everyone, welcome to Kappa Station, finest in the cluster. Your memory imprints do not cover the last couple of decades since the last backup was distributed among cloning facilities in this quadrant. Therefore, a lot of information you know and the things you know may be outdated. This is a crash course in what has happened while you were sleeping. Let's start with the most important thing, etiquette. With regards to my person, you may have addressed me as third rank esteemed Grand Headmaster Radchai Eternus P02. In settings that only compromise initiate level and above station personnel, you may call me simply Grand Headmaster or Master Eternus P02. In public, you will always address me as Your Likeness. Provided the honorifics have been properly given and received, in a small setting you may subsequently call me Sir. He pauses for a second. Now that that is covered, let us move on to secondary topics. First, your own identity. It is with great pleasure that I deem you all initiates. More specifically, your full name will be First Level Initiate Megrez, since this is your facility of origin. And your chosen name, along with your decanting birth and batch number, you're a batch of 21 of this administration. There is a holopad on your desk. You may now use it to approve your suggested name or pick another one. A look at the holopad resting atop the desk. 21. Is that... do I really want to be called by that name? Placeholders. I remake my mind for an idea. Can I randomly type in letters? Wait, no, I'll be stuck with that. Better find something discreet I can blend in. I press the delete button. The words enter your name appear instead. Enter your name. Horatio. Horatio? The words, you cannot name yourself Horatio for you're not him, appears on the screens. If no satisfactory name is entered, you'll lose naming privileges. I guess there's only one Horatio. Sixkilla. The screen flashes green for a second after I hit the submit key. Okay, my name is First Level Initiate Megrez Sixkilla F21 now. Hope it brings me luck. The Horatio on stage must have some way of checking our progress, because after a moment he continues, as initiates, you need not address Category X personnel or unsightly species you may encounter directly. You may find the closest underling to do that for you. Be aware that there are many new species that have been added to his glorious empire. Xenuglies aside, there might be some more aliens around the station. Do not be alarmed, they should all be tame. Generally, the rough and unwashed masses are kept from their betters, but several client species are permitted residence aboard Kappa Station. This is entirely possible that you'll come across some of their representatives over the course of the next few weeks. Should you need to communicate with them, they are familiar with our speech and will attempt to replicate it to the best of their ability. Most of the new species we've encountered have proven to be just as disappointing as we expected. He smirks. He flicks his wrist and pulls his belt buckle free. With a wave, his buckle lights up, revealing a small holopad. Fancy! Now, for a brief overview of what has happened in the last decades. Relationships with the so-called fledgling United Empire remain very cold. Representatives from their young leader, a male human named Zalavus, have refused vassalage under the auspicious leadership of Horatio himself. Similarly, they have repelled violently several attempts at claiming outer planets for our empire. Proceed with caution. Relationships with robotic insectoid hive known as Cravers are still at an all-time low. They've eaten the last dozen envoys as well as the ships they came on. The colony of Heka was deemed lost after we had to vitrify the surface in the year 10191 after him. The strength would make a great addition to the Empire, but at this time we are not pursuing efforts any further. Similarly, we are currently not in speaking terms with the Sophon Republic, so it sounds like you don't have any good relationships with any other races. The diminutive know-it-alls have recently jumped the sun and seized the system of Ingress and... Wait, this happened centuries ago. He flicks through several screens on the holoscreen in rapid succession. All this information is completely out of date. Have you messed with the geopolitics database? I'm surrounded by complete idiots, I swear. Never mind this. He turns off the holoscreen, sighs, then continues. I guess I'll be doing this from memory. It might be a bit patchy, something that your own memories will definitely encounter too, once you start living in your body for a while. Something to do with having a millennia of memories of him. Moving on, you might be wondering why so many of you are being decanted at this time, and for what purpose. The station is home to Horatio Academy, where the best and brightest of his siblings come from all across the Empire for further education. The best of these in turn get a shot at joining the other academy, led by a Vojani male called Isyander. The Vojani, life-sucking ghouls who live in gigantic space arcs and prey on the defenseless souls of our brethren. Except this Isyander fellow, who fled them and founded the academy. a place that has grown into immense power. They have knowledge of and mastery of dust. Your purpose, if you end up among the chosen few, is to go there and acquire some of this knowledge and power, and bring it back for the glory of his empire. Finally, the why of so many of you at once. Well, 2 of our exploration vessels disappeared. They're gone now. In just a few short weeks before Horatio Prime himself is due to review our Academy cadets. Horatio Prime himself is coming to Kappa Station. We have no cadets. The shame this would bring to me and the whole station would be unbearable. Anyway, you've got about 3 weeks to become these cadets. There will be extensive training. There will be classes. There will be etiquette courses and lessons of the latest courtly dances. There will be no failure, or else. Now if you have any questions, keep them for your instructors tomorrow. Time for you to get sustenance, and retire to your personal quarters. He turns away and walks out the same way he came, under the arcades, and out of sight. I don't know. This Arturnius P02 guy is something else. Guess that's how people are around here. If I understand it correctly, I have 3 weeks to not only pass for a normal Horatio, but become an outstanding specimen worthy of sending on to steal secrets from a powerful alien entity. Gotcha. People have already started getting up when the other one comes back. Master Sergeant something, I believe. Attention, please. You are now going to be provided with dinner. Follow me to the mess hall. Without waiting, he turns around, walks down the podium, and off to the direction opposite of the one we came. My brethren and I quickly follow. Finally, we get there. Compared to the concourse in the room we were just in, this is a rather drab place, somehow halfway between a spaceport and a hospital. Doesn't look like a place to enjoy dinner as much as a place to eat, a place to feed oneself. Some of my, I guess, classmates are already in line, and a few have already sat down to eat something I can't quite identify yet. I have to say classmate. I just decided to say classmates since I can't settle on whether we should be feeling any kinship towards one another. And it does feel strange to hear brethren every other sentence. I guess calling us cadets might be getting ahead of myself. The headmaster's speech didn't really help normalize the situation, really. Someone bumps into me and I realize I'm holding up the crowd. I get in line. I grab a tray and slide it on the rail. There are some odd kitchen utensils available, but I'm not sure what purpose they serve, so I compromise by taking a spoon from the lot. Upon closer inspection, I realize it's a spork. The future looks amazing. I look up at the people serving us food. They're all Horatios too, wearing some sort of jumpsuit and looking upset to be there. One hands me a bowl of something I don't quite recognize, serving me a mean look at the same time. I'm surprised by the direct eye contact, and before I know it I'm saying, "Hello? Thank you?" The Horatio lunch person is as surprised as I am and frowns back before saying, "Hello, enjoy your food." I've never before seen anyone so begrudging and saying thank you. But then again, I've not seen many people. Take it easy, friend. I shuffle along and look at the contents of my bowl. It's slop. Definitely slop. I don't know what it's made of or what animal it came out of. Oh well, at least it seems hot. I grab some water and a piece of bread. Poo's hot when it comes out. No dessert options. Princely. I look around for a place to sit next to someone, hoping for a bit of, well, any kind of interaction. I sit down next to a bored-looking classmate. After a few overtures and encouraging smiles, I give up. Every me's a bit on edge, and at other tables, it looks like people are focusing on the contents of their tray. The slop proves to taste just as awful as it looks. Once I'm done pushing about the last bits of food left, I stand up and go put my tray back where I've seen others do so. A fair bunch of people have left already, and looking at their trays, it seems like I'm not the only one whom enjoyment of our dinner was minimal. Off to the side, there's a guard ticking people off a long list and sending them down the hallway. It's that Master Sergeant dude again, I think. Some of us, it seems, have different face markings and uniforms, although I'm not sure what their meanings are. We lock eyes and he barks up. "What's your name, first level initiate?" I enunciate clearly. "I am Sixkilla F21, first level initiate Megres Sixkilla F21. He searches for a few moments, then finds it. "Yes, Sixkilla F21. Your living quarters are on section B8, level 9, hallway 47, door 32. It's down this way, just follow the signs, you can't miss it. And if you do, you'll figure it out eventually." I like the way he's pointing at a nondescript hallway off to the side, leading away from the concourse. I look back at the guard, but he's turning his attention to someone else. Hesitantly, I set out to find door 32. My footsteps echo softly down long, empty hallways. It takes me some time to realize I don't see anyone else, although I sometimes hear voices echoing from afar. I eventually find my way to level 9, hallway 47. There's an even quieter area of the station, which is saying something. There are small doors here, tiny affairs compared to the ones in the main concourse. Even the ceiling is much lower, about 2 meters high. The lighting is a mix of neon glare and the ever-oppressive flicker of a tube that just refuses to give up the ghost. I look around me to get my bearings. It seems I'm nearly at the end of the hallway, where a bend leads to some sort of control system for life support. I guess I'm getting the finest air in the area then. With one last look towards the map, I start down the hall. Door 1, 2, 31, 32, this should be it. I look around. Might be the finest air in the area, but boy oh boy, this end of the hallway looks like it hasn't seen a mop in weeks. There's strange sounds coming from the next door over, which must be the life support control room. Ominous. Is this the right place? Section B8, level 9, hallway 47, door 32. Yep, no doubt this is me. I put the heavy metallic door open with a groan and step inside. From my vantage point, I survey my new kingdom. From left to right, there's a tiny sink for my ablutions, a mirror that doubles as a hollow screen, a toilet with no lid, a closet, a narrow bunk with a blanket and a pillow. Some almost empty shelves, and we're back at the door. All in a cylinder, about 2 by 4 meters. Cozy. Well, this might be not the warm embrace of a cloning berth, but it'll do. At least I have the place to myself. I pull the door closed behind me. There's a distracting buzzing coming from an overhead fan, the finest air. Huh. Sit down on the bed and look about. It's a bit hot in here now that the door's closed. There are actual physical controls in the panel by the entrance, so I turn the temperature down a notch. The buzzing increases to a screech. Something scraping on metal? There's no way I can sleep with this thing on. I turn the knob back to its original level, and the metal screech subsides. Screw it, that'll do for tonight. I plop myself down on the bed, turn off the light, and pull the blanket over my head. There's a sinister rumble in my belly. That doesn't bode well. I wake up with a start. I had a strange sensation. A dream? A dream in which everyone was wearing the same face and smiled and snarled at one another in the same breath. They're all playing a part in some big play, and I seem to be the only one not to know my lines. If my mask fell off, I died. I sighed heavily and pushed myself off the mattress. I stagger off the bed and put my hands on each side of the sink. I look into the mirror hollow screen. The dream was real. I feel a strong urge to puke. I clench my hands on the sink until my knuckles are as white as the faux porcelain and breathe as deeply as I can. The feeling passes. I open my eyes again. I notice there's a blinking icon flashing on the hollow screen. It expands and I press it until it covers the screen. Breakfast, mess hall, class, Academy Auditorium 3, lunch, mess hall, extracurriculars, specific, dinner, mess hall, advanced classes, specific. Breakfast is greyed out and classes is bolded. Looks like I'm late for my first day of class. I bolt out the door and run like my life depends on it. It does. We're going to wrap this one up here. But yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more. It's interesting. Like, so far it's just a visual novel. I like the premise of it, and apparently there's going to be chapters. So this is the first chapter. It's free if you want to go play it yourself. There's a link in the description. Go and play it. If you want to see more, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.